Good day everyone. I'm Ronald, moderator for this webinar. I welcome everyone for today's webinar that is on kicking your employee retention efforts into overdrive. I would now like to introduce our presenter for today, Diane L.D. Diane L.D., President and founder of Advantage HR Consulting, LLC, is a senior human resource professional with over 30 years of experience in the HR arena. Diane holds a master's in human resource from Cornell University's School of Industrial and Labor Relations and has attained SPHR and SHRM SCP certifications. I would now like to hand over the floor to the speaker. Over to you, Diane.
Thank you, Ronald. And I want to thank and welcome our participants for joining us today. You know, it's every manager's nightmare. One of your best employees resigns out of the blue. Right away, you've got a number of challenges to tackle on top of your daily responsibilities. Not only do you have to find a replacement for that team member, which is no small feat when skilled professionals are in high demand, but you also have to consider the impact this departure will have on the rest of your staff. Whenever an employee walks out the door, people notice. Some will even start wondering if they should start looking for a new job too. That's why employee retention should be high on every organization's list of priorities, and why creating effective retention strategies to decrease turnover should be one of management's most important jobs. The next question becomes, why does employee turnover even matter? So for long-term success, this depends on establishing your organization's identity. So we need to be in the mindset of putting the focus on who we are as an organization, the high cost of replacing an employee. So how does an organization go about measuring the cost? The cost of turnover goes beyond just dollars. So there are some turnover myths that I want to make note of for you. So why do our employees leave? Well, there's a whole host of reasons. I listed some predictors of turnover. So how can an employer get ahead of turnover? So there are some key retention strategies that we can put into place to help with turnover issues. Let's first talk about benchmarking. Establishing appropriate benchmarks, both external and internal, is a key first step in preparing to implement your employee retention strategy. Pay transparency is another strategy employers can put in place to help with their retention rates. So being less transparent about pay ranges and how pay is determined within your organization contributes to turnover risk. Pay transparency can help workers visualize their long-term careers with their employers. So as an employer, we need to be ready to answer the following questions from our employees. We need to allow our employees to discuss their pay with others to build pay transparency into your brand and culture. We can also use people analytics to track pay equity within our organizations. This also has an effect on our recruitment practices. In addition to understanding pay ranges and pay structure, we need to ensure our pay and range setting procedures are equitable. Important and successful retention strategy is to conduct stay interviews. So what is a stay interview? A stay interview is just as, if not more important, than an exit interview. Don't let these excuses keep you from conducting stay interviews. So how do stay interviews work? There are some practical considerations. So let's walk through the process of a stay interview. On the slide here, I've listed some stay interviews best practices. On this slide, I've listed some sample questions you might ask during the stay interview. Tips for conducting stay interviews. So as post-stay interview actions, how do we go about implementing what we've learned from these interviews. You can use broader feedback you receive. Another critical part of retention is employee engagement. And disengaged employees are those who have essentially just checked out. So there are some profiles that we should be aware of. So what is employee engagement? Who does it impact? What are the top 10 drivers of employee engagement? On this slide here, I've listed the role of both managers and employees. So how can we go about measuring employee engagement? Really, the bottom line is you can't improve employee engagement with one simple solution. Typically, HR is responsible for taking the following steps. Some common issues that could pop up as you're trying to implement your retention strategies. Turnover is a reflection of your organization's culture. I, again, want to thank our participants for joining us today. I hope you found the presentation to be informative and helpful.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
That concludes the session for today. Thank you everyone for participating. You may all disconnect now. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.